Bannitime Foods here. I got a request. I'm gonna do a poached egg for you guys this morning. In terms of like eggs and stuff, the scrambled eggs that I posted earlier, very good, very delicious, different. These are very good too. Sometimes I wake up and I just really crave a poached egg. Something about that vinegar bite in the morning, you know, not that oily, greasy stuff where you fry it. It's also probably the healthiest way to eat an egg. And also, when you do it like this, I feel like sometimes it actually takes that sulfur smell out of the egg, so it doesn't really smell like a fart. So actually, this is probably the most delicate, like, non-eggy way to eat an egg. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So right here, I have my pan of water. How hot? Okay, so don't boil it, but obviously you can see, I put it on like maybe medium low. But you want to see bubbles forming. So there's bubbles forming, but it's not boiling. So that's perfect. That's what you want. So when we get in the restaurant in the morning, first thing we do, boil the water, start getting those eggs going. You could poach probably 20 eggs at a time. And I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So if you're cooking for like 12 people and they all want poached eggs, you think to yourself, how the hell am I gonna do that? This is how you do it. So let's get right to it. I have my vinegar right here. This is the most important part about poaching an egg, okay? So my water is very important. The temperature of it, just bubbling, very important. And then this vinegar, very important. So it's a kind of finicky way to do an egg, but if done right, very delicious. So, how much vinegar? It doesn't really matter how much. There's no real science. The science of it is it coagulates the protein of the egg, so it solidifies, so it doesn't just wash in the water. So you can add a lot, but if you add a lot, it'll just taste like vinegar. And if you add too little, it won't congeal. So I add just like this pan. I'm just gonna do like a splash like that. Maybe a little bit more. It doesn't really matter how much. If you just do too much, it'll just taste like vinegar. That's basically it. So just a little bit, and I could begin to smell that. I can see how much is in there now. So that seems like a pretty good amount. And I'm just barely moving the water. I don't want to move the water too much because I'm going to drop the eggs in there. So the vinegar's in. I like to add a little bit of salt too. Just salt to everything. I salt everything, just flavor it, you know. So the egg's here. And people say, swirl the water, then crack the egg in. I kind of disagree with that. When I was working in the restaurant, we would throw like literally 15, 20 eggs in one pot at a time. And then I'd set a timer and then we would just pull them all out. But if I were to swirl that water, it would have just made a mess. So basically it's really easy to poach an egg. You get your water at the right temperature, you splash a little bit of the vinegar in there, and then you just crack the eggs right in. I don't even swirl the water at all, I just crack it right in. So I'll just drop this one right there, like that. And make sure you do it as fast as you can because it really matters on the timing. And if you're 15 seconds apart, then you gotta do the timing of it. But that seems like they're all pretty good timed together. Now I go over here on the timer. 4 minutes. 4 minutes will give you a perfectly over medium poached egg. And so for the next 4 minutes, we're just gonna let that sit. And we're gonna go over here and English muffin. And I'm gonna get some parsley too, because I like to eat my poached eggs with cheese, avocado, Tabasco, and parsley. I gotta go get some parsley out of the garden real quick, so go ahead and follow me. Like I said, we got 4 minutes. Woo, it's hot. We never go out here, so I figured we have 4 minutes to kill. So I gotta trim up some parsley here. Just trimming the outside ones to promote growth on the inside. So just pulling these little outside guys here. And that is honestly all I need right there and this has more nutrient density than kale. So this is very good for you. So let's go back and cook it. Flowers for you? We got 2 minutes on our timer, perfect. gonna wash that off. Just gonna rip those, put them on the board. So it's kind of pulling away from the pan. That's how you can kind of tell. I'm not touching it at all. People will go under there and try to flick, you know, the whites up from the bottom of the pan. Just set your timer and let them sit. Don't worry about them. See how they're already coming up from the bottom? That's because I have the water at the perfect temperature. So I don't need to touch it. All I have to do is worry about my timer. So I guess I can show you guys how to cut an avocado while we do this. And pretty simple here. I'll take it on the top, like so. And I'll feel that seed and I'll just spin it around. Like so. That's nice. It's got a nice small seed. Very awesome. And people will tell you that this is probably wrong and this will get you hurt. I don't recommend doing this, but this is how I do it. Just hit the knife in there like that and give it a twist. And then pulling this off is pulling it off with your hand, you might cut yourself. My knife is very sharp, so just with a little spoon, I'll pick that up. So, it's what it is. Don't pull it off with your hand. I've cut myself trying to pull it off before, my hand went back and I cut my finger. And it was not a good time. So I'm gonna, okay, that doesn't work. So with this, we'll scoop it like so. Okay, getting in there. And I'm just gonna flip that over on the board like that. Take this one, scoop it. I used to have to scoop like ungodly amounts of these every day. So I put them together like that, right? And I'll bring them actually closer to me. And I take my knife and I'll just slide it through the first, slide it through the second like that. And I'll just go on the top now. Cut it like so. Watch your fingers as you do this, guys and girls, and everything else. And I'll just simply cut like this. And people like those, but I like cubes. So we'll just do that right there. And I'll just toss that into a bowl. And I'll mix that around. Our timer's at 12 seconds, so we'll get back to it. All right. So, 2, 1, timer done. So I'll go ahead and I'll just lightly, very gently, you don't want to move the water. Remember, poaching an egg is very delicate, but it's also kind of a fun process too. And the treat that you get at the end of it's very worth it. So just go ahead and very gently pull them out of the bottom, and they'll kind of float a little bit here. And this was the last one I cracked, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up like this, and I'll give it a little shake. The whites are cooked. Just by shaking it, you can tell the doneness. So I don't want to cook the yolk, but that looks like a perfect over medium because the yolk is still jiggling, but the whites are cooked and firm. So with it, right into the bath, stop cooking. Okay, I'm gonna grab the other one. You see that? That's a perfect over medium egg, that little jiggle, but the whites are cooked. So I'll go ahead and put that in the ice. That's done cooking. This one here, that one is just a little under medium, but still good. So we'll put that in the water too. Some people I like the whites cooked, and I like the yolk like a gravy. However you cook it, poached, fried. If the whites are cooked and the yolk are like a gravy, I can assure you that it's gonna be delicious. That's called over medium. So these are done. And this is how you do it. Now I would throw more eggs in there, and then I would just get more going, boom, for everyone else. Get these eggs out here, okay? And then from here, you can make them look really nice, you know? Trim off these with the scissors. And so you get all that kind of off there too. Don't cut your fingers here. Just making it look nice, you know? And I'm gonna go ahead and actually, I have poached eggs in here that I have from earlier, that I did before. So like I said, get in here and you can just do a lot at a time, feed the whole family. This one looks pretty good, so I'll just leave that as it is. I'll put that in there. Oh, it looks like I popped the yolk on my finger. Like I said, you gotta be very delicate with these things. This one, I'll cut the whites off a little bit here, just to make it look really nice. And that's wasted product, I know. If you're going for presentation, you can cut the edges. If you're not and you want to eat all those whites, obviously I like to eat all the whites. Like this one is a perfect example. If you wanted to make this like a 5-star poached egg, I would cut that off right there. And I would cut this off, like so. And then I would begin to put that onto a English muffin with a slice of ham and some hollandaise. And that would be your perfect poached egg right there. So basically, I stopped cooking it, right? And these are all cold now. So now we're gonna eat. So I'll just take them and I'll bring them right back to the water here and I'll warm them up. Just toss them right back into the water here. Very delicately grabbing them with my fingers. Just tossing it right back into the water and warming them back up. And to be honest, I think I'm gonna eat all of these, so I'll just go ahead and dump the whole thing in there, like that. And I popped one of the yolks, but. So that was in the fridge. I brought them back out, I'm warming them all back up. Everyone has their plates ready. Boom, 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 put them on. That's how we do it. So this will take about, when you're reheating, it'll take about a minute, minute and a half. Don't go any longer than that because obviously you're gonna cook them longer. So in the meantime, I'm gonna cut this up just so we can have that. And this has, they say it has 3 times more nutrient density than kale. So I put parsley in literally everything. I think this has to do with, like, you know, I'm not saying that I'm healthy or anything, but I think that being healthy, eating parsley 3 times a day in every meal, you can be really healthy. Parsley is an incredible, easy to grow, very plentiful, very hardy. It stays in the fridge green it keeps in the fridge very good. So I just like to dust it on everything. It adds a fresh aroma to everything, kind of lightens everything up. So these are done. So I'll go ahead and take these English muffins here that we have. Hot, 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 hot. Woo! Woo! All right. We'll take this. We'll take the butter here. And we'll just wipe it on there. Still worried about my eggs. Still thinking about them. They're in there. Don't be scared about how much butter to put on either. It's good for you. It's just the sugars out there for you. All right, we'll take these. We'll get them up. And it's okay, the moisture will actually provide a little, that wetness will actually provide a little moisture. See, that egg closed up. I broke it, but then I put it back into the vinegar and it congealed right back. So there you go with that one. And this one here, we'll flop that one on. That one's okay looking. If you're looking for a 5-star quality, this one right here is probably a 5-star quality poached egg. So if you throw that on right there, that's gonna be your 5-star egg right there. Okay. We got more right here. Just gonna flop that on. Uh-oh, here we go. This is gonna be a tricky one. There we go. Woo! Got it without breaking it. Okay. I got 2 more eggs. I'm an egg eater, guys. And especially when I eat poached eggs, I can eat a lot of poached eggs. It goes down like air. So we'll get one right there. And we'll get another one right there. Look at that yolk, guys. Oh my gosh. I'll go ahead and open that yolk for you just so you can kind of see what's going on here. Where was that 5-star? This is the 5-star egg right here. So we'll open that one up and we'll just see what the 4-minute timeline did for us. So you can tell that yolk is like a gravy. It's not runny at all. It's actually just congealed just enough to not give you that really eggy flavor. When it's a gravy like that, it tastes amazing. But if it's any less, it'll taste like an egg and I don't want to have anything to do with it. So that's good. And that's Banni-time Foods, how to poach an egg, guys. I hope you enjoy and cook on and Please watch more.